Hello, everyone. We hope you're doing well. Let me introduce myself and my classmate. My name is Mayra Lozano, Montserrat Hernandez, Gurnor, Partap, Anuret Kaur, and we are going to present and share the topic for oppression that we found on the news for oppression in Africa, and the name is Paul Kanur. Um, how, how can be a man, black, and gay is not and being gay is not allowed to be in Africa. So we have in on the next slide we have our agenda that these one are the topics that we are going to talk. What is oppression? How the is oppression bound and system privilege and power? The oppression tough social and educational economic and political institution and oppression micro and macro systems. And for we have our conclusion and some thoughtful questions that we would like to share with you. So in the next slide, we have the wheel of pressure, oppression, and privilege. So as we can see on the imagine, we we can see the privileged people mostly the time is white men, economic wealth, and European. So if you have these categories, you are privilege and the people almost never you never has like oppression. So for the oppression, mostly the people is like being Jewish, being dark, have dark skin, be female, um, join the LGBT society, being an old man, old woman, being black. So this will share all the pros and against for privileged and oppression people. So on the next slide, we have this news that is the oppression in Africa. What was the inequality and the rights that was negated for Paul and his partner? So we have the human rights never they can interfere in a country, so the human rights cannot help him, and for that he was being oppressed by his preference by sexually preference. So we can see the power on the society and the minorities are not allowed to complete freedom as a Paul and his partner and many more in Africa will live in that life. So on the next slide we have Amonse, and she's gonna share what is oppression bounds and system.
Okay, thank you, Mayra. So, to understand the article that we read, we need to differentiate the privilege and oppression. Like the difference here is that privilege is like it's a state where certain individuals or group within a society receive unearned advantage or benefits. Usually, these people or this group they don't know that they have this advantage or privilege, and the oppression is the result of systematic discrimination and the unjust exercise of power. This one we can already know how they use it. So, like we were saying, we read this article, and it's about this couple that they cannot express what they feel like for the other gender or the same gender, or even if they are like transgender, they cannot express that because that will be like a crime where they live. That is Uganda. So what they are trying to do is hide themselves. And this is not good because they cannot be happy, they cannot be free. So, the impact of oppression in LGBTQ refugees. As we know, um, most people in Africa they can come to Canada as refugees. Um, Canada gives a lot of help to them, but now even with the oppression that they are having Africa about the LGBTQ community, they're having more opportunities to come here. Like I said, there it's like a crime to be transgender or even gay or just something about the community. They cannot be really happy, so they need to go to another country to live their lives, to express themselves, to finally understand what they are feeling, because they need to hide everything that they feel in their own country, in their own home, and they cannot be happy. So, the role of privilege in fostering oppression. Like I said, most of the people has privilege and they don't notice. Um, and they might not recognize that they have these advantages because they born with this privilege, or maybe um, in the school they teach them that privilege is something good, something that they already earn. But to address this dynamic, it's crucial to acknowledge one's own privilege, actively emphasize with and learn from the experience of marginalized individuals, and practically work to challenge and transform the structures that sustain these oppressive systems in the pursuit of more just and equitable society. This means, this means what is actually Canada doing? Like, it's giving help to the people that they need help. That's what is happening here. Like, people in Africa that are scared because they could die, because they can't go to the prison, because they don't, they are not like the others, because they love, like, I'm a man and I love men, so they cannot feel free about that. So they need to run, and Canada is giving the help. And if more people understand that like you are a human, you might like someone else, you are not like me, but I understand that you're still human. We can we can help them to improve even their own government in Africa. My partner Gurnor is going to explain more about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Nusret. Now I will like to discuss more about like what the situation was in Uganda. Like the article LGBTQ refugees find comfort and safety in BC after fleeing violence and oppression. Chronicles the experience of two LGBTQ individuals from Uganda, Paul Henry Kenaimo and Maddie Santiago, who left the country experiencing intense harassment from social, educational, economic, and political institutions. There had an enormous effect in perpetuating discrimination toward LGBTQ individuals. Their story shed light on Uganda's oppressive system, involving social institutions playing major roles in fomenting discrimination towards them. Next slide, please. Now, first of all, I would like to explain what is social oppression. It refers to the systematic, pervasive, and unjust treatment or discrimination of individuals or group based on social identity, which can include factors like race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, disability, and many more. This mistreatment can occur on both individual and systematic level. It can manifest in various forms such as economic inequality, restricted access to opportunities, physical, psychological violence, and many more. So this is what the situation the two people experience in Uganda. Like Uganda society is marked by deep social oppression against LGBTQ individuals, where same-sex relations are illegal but frequently met with hostility and violence. A recent harsh anti-LGBTQ law, which included death penalties, in evidence of such discrimination. individuals such as Kimayu and Santiago faced persecution, discrimination, even physical attacks such as burn to death, friends resulting in tragic losses as social norms in Uganda fostered an environment in which LGBTQ individuals felt unwelcome by the society, making their daily existence highly at risk is an unsafe society. Next slide, please. Now, I would firstly explain the educational oppression. Educational oppression refers to the systematic and unjust limitations placed on individuals' access to quality education and their ability to fully benefit from it. This form of oppression can manifest in various ways and can disproportionately affect certain group of peoples perpetuating existing social inequalities. The key aspects of the key aspects of like the education operation includes unequal access to education, resources disparities, and many more. So this was the case like in the Uganda also. The Uganda education systems plays an integral part in perpetuating oppression against LGBTQ individuals. The access to schooling was denied to members of these communities like living in refugee camps. Their exclusion further marginalized this population by restricting opportunities to personal and intellectual growth. Lack of education further perpetuates oppression as it prohibits breaking free of restrictions imposed by social norms. Now, my friend Pratap will talk more about it.
Thanks, Gurnul. Now I'm gonna speak about the economic cooperation. First of all, I would like to explain what's the economic cooperation is. Economic cooperation is the unjust, or you can say the discriminatory control and exploitation of an individual or a groups through economic. So this oppression was faced by Uganda. So I'm gonna share that example. Economic oppression in Uganda compounds LGBTQ individual hardships. Discrimination against them does not only extend to social and legal areas, but can also impact economic prospects. Kanaimu mentioned being prevented from interviewing LGBTQ individuals due to fines or business closure threats that undermine his livelihood as a journalist, such as economic insecurity further isolates LGBTQ individuals while amplifying their vulnerability. Next slide, please. So now I'm gonna talk about political oppression. Political oppression is the unfair and often violent suppression of individual rights and freedoms within a political system, which includes the freedom of speech and the assembly also. So in Uganda's political environment plays an integral part in perpetuating LGBTQ oppressions. Harsher and anti-LGBTQ laws, some with the potential death penalties, indicate government responsibility in creating and enforce anti-discriminatory policies. State complicity amplifies a fear and a discrimination for LGBTQ individuals, while political institutions contribute actively toward their operations rather than protecting their rights. So the next slide gonna be continued by my teammate Anurit.
Hello, friends. My name is Anurit Kaur, and here I'm going to talk about the operations in microsystem and macro system. So, the microsystem refers to the smallest and the social environment in which an individual lives. So, it's very important for everyone. Like, it's very important in a social justice to cover or to have a regular contact with a person such as family or a school or a workplace. In the observation microsystem, factor can include the personal interactions, relationships, and many more things. So it occurs in every day and like it's oftenly occur and it's more important, whereas the macro system, it's on the other hand is different. It's more different, like it's a social environment. It's a larger, like it's the micro means the smaller one, whereas the macro is a large content, like it's covered the culture, every shapes, like every beliefs, personal behavior, everything is included in this. It come in the law, it comes like the factors under micro is laws, government policies, and many more things. So I think this is very important, and the topic which we select, like it refers to very important to have a micro and macro observations or operations. So that's all. Hello friends, my name is Zanurit Kaur, and here I'm gonna hello.
Thank you, Anuri. So for conclusion, now we can understand the life of Paul Kanyuami Amu and his partner living in Africa, being a black man, being gay over there. So we can understand the life was not easy for them. They was like being chased by political system and economic system too. So they have no rights over there. And now they finally they are happy and they have freedom here living in Canada. So for that, they can say they break down the chains for the operation system in Africa, and they are living happy in Canada right now. So on the next slide, we have our references, and if you want to see some information about these news that we share. And on the next slide, we have on the final some TOEFL questions that we would like to share with you. And if you can like answer with us on the discussion forum, will be great. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.